In the hushed aftermath of the Weeping Shade's release, Morning Hollow underwent a subtle metamorphosis. The once bustling hamlet now lay still, bathed in an eerie calmness. The silence was deafening, save for the faint whispers of the wind rustling through the bare trees. In this spectral tranquility, a solitary figure emerged, our protagonist AshishShadow. His presence was as haunting as the desolate streets he wandered, a stark contrast to the vibrant life that once thrived here. As he walked through the abandoned village, his every step echoed in the empty houses, a mournful symphony that spoke volumes of the tragedy that had befallen Morning Hollow. AshishShadow, a mere shadow of his former self, had now become a vessel of perpetual sorrow, carrying the weight of Morning Hollow's tragic legacy. The shadows that once danced in the moonlight now clung to him, whispering secrets of sacrifice and liberation. His heart bore the indelible mark of sorrow that resonated through the desolate streets, a haunting melody that lingered in the air long after his footsteps had faded. The village, once vibrant and teeming with life, now bore witness to the solitary wanderings of AshishShadow. His eyes, once filled with joy, were now portals to a soul steeped in sorrow. The shadows embraced him, whispering tales of the past, of the sacrifices made, and the price paid to silence the Weeping Shade. As AshishShadow ventured deeper into the heart of Morning Hollow, the eerie calmness grew more profound. The village, now a haunting tableau of its former self, lay desolate, its silence punctuated only by AshishShadow's solitary wanderings. The air was thick with an unspoken sadness, a chilling reminder of the tragedy that had unfolded here. His every step echoed through the abandoned houses, each footfall a somber reminder of the price paid to silence the Weeping Shade. The echoes of his footsteps, a haunting symphony that resonated through the desolate streets, were a testament to the sorrow that now shrouded Morning Hollow. As night descended, AshishShadow found himself drawn to the outskirts of the village, where a forgotten graveyard cradled the remains of those who had succumbed to the curse. This graveyard, weathered by time and forgotten by most, was a silent testament to the sorrow that had once consumed Morning Hollow. The tombstones, standing like ancient sentinels, bore the names of those who had fallen, their lives extinguished prematurely by the merciless Weeping Shade. A spectral mist began to envelop the silent graveyard, casting an ethereal glow on the worn gravestones. The air grew dense with an unspoken dread, an anticipation that clung to the tombstones and rustled in the withered leaves. It was here, amid the silence of the forgotten dead, that AshishShadow felt an otherworldly compulsion, a pull towards the heart of the graveyard. He walked among the graves, the shadows clinging to his form, whispering their mournful secrets into the night. The wind, a silent accomplice, echoed these whispers through the skeletal remains of trees, their branches reaching out like desperate hands in the night. In the midst of this spectral symphony, AshishShadow found himself standing before a particularly weathered tombstone. It was here, beneath the cold stone and the centuries of sorrow, that the Weeping Shade had found its final rest. AshishShadow, the vessel of perpetual sorrow, had been led here by a force beyond his comprehension. The air around him crackled with an ethereal tension. It was as if the very spirits that inhabited this place, the souls of those who had fallen to the curse, were watching him, their ethereal gazes unwavering. A chill swept across the graveyard, the spectral mist swirling around the graves in a haunting dance. As AshishShadow stood there, before the monument of sorrow, he could feel the weight of the village's tragic legacy pressing down on him. He was alone, yet surrounded by the echoes of a time long past, a time of sacrifice and sorrow. The suspense thickened, shadows weaving a haunting dance around the graves as he stood before a monument of sorrow. The graveyard, once a place of rest, had become a stage for the spectral ballet of the Weeping Shade's eternal lament. In a chilling revelation, the Weeping Shade manifested before AshishShadow, no longer a harbinger of anguish, but a spectral entity bound to his essence. The very air seemed to shudder, as if the world itself was holding its breath in anticipation of the secrets about to be unveiled. As the Weeping Shade materialized, it was as though the very fabric of reality had been altered. It was no longer a wraith of despair, but now an ethereal presence bound by an unseen thread to AshishShadow. The once feared entity now stood before him, not as an adversary, but as a part of his own existence. The air around them crackled with an energy that was palpable, the tension so thick you could almost taste it. The weeping shade, now a part of AshishShadow's eternal existence, began to whisper. It wasn't a mournful wail or a cry of despair, but a soft, ethereal whisper, carrying secrets of redemption and eternal solitude. With each whispered secret, the suspense deepened. The weeping shade's revelation was not of doom, but of an eternal bond, a symbiosis formed between the spectral entity and AshishShadow. This was the revelation that AshishShadow was not merely a vessel of sorrow, but a beacon of redemption for the weeping shade. The weeping shade's whispers were not just words, but a melody, a haunting symphony that resonated within AshishShadow. The secrets it shared were not of despair, but of a solitude that was not a prison, but a sanctuary where he could find redemption, where he could find peace. As the weeping shade's secrets unfurled, it became clear that AshishShadow was not just a vessel but a guardian not just of the village of Morning Hollow, but of the weeping shade itself. A guardian destined to carry the spectral entity through the realm of the eternal night. The revelation was not of doom, but of a new beginning. A beginning where AshishShadow and the weeping shade would embark on a journey. A journey not of despair, but of redemption. A journey into the heart of the eternal night, where sorrow and shadows danced their macabre dance. The revelation was a beacon of hope in the shroud of despair that had once cloaked Morning Hollow. The weeping shade was no longer a harbinger of sorrow, but a partner in AshishShadow's eternal journey. The suspense lifted, leaving in its wake a sense of calmness that was almost eerie. As the secrets of the weeping shade were revealed, it was clear that AshishShadow was no longer alone. He had the weeping shade, a spectral entity bound to his essence, accompanying him on his eternal journey. Together they stood on the precipice of an eternal night, a realm where shadows and sorrow coexisted in a macabre dance. Their journey was just beginning, a journey into the heart of the eternal night where the symphony of sorrow would play on, echoing through the realm of shadows and solitude. As Morning Hollow slept in the shroud of night, AshishShadow and the weeping shade embarked on an eternal pilgrimage. Their journey, born from sorrow and shrouded in mystery, began under the spectral glow of the moon. The once bustling village of Morning Hollow now lay silent, its streets deserted, its houses empty. Only the haunting echoes of their footsteps disturbed the eerie tranquility. A chilling wind whispered through the narrow streets, carrying with it the spectral remnants of a tragic past. The spectral silence was a poignant testament to the sacrifice that had forever intertwined the fates of AshishShadow and the weeping shade. Each footstep was a haunting reminder of the price paid for their liberation. As they ventured deeper into the night, the shadows seemed to grow darker, denser. The whispering wind carried tales of sorrow and sacrifice, echoing through the desolate streets of Morning Hollow. The village, once filled with life and laughter, now bore the indelible mark of their eternal sorrow. The journey was not one of distance, but one of transformation. With each step, AshishShadow felt the weight of the weeping shade's sorrow seep deeper into his soul. The spectral entity, once a harbinger of despair, was now an inseparable part of his existence. Their bond, born from sacrifice and sealed in sorrow, was a haunting testament to their tragic legacy. The pilgrimage was a passage through the veils of eternal shadows, a journey into the heart of perpetual darkness. The spectral silence was punctuated by the haunting echoes of their footsteps, a reminder of the sacrifice that had forever intertwined their fates. The night seemed to stretch on endlessly, the shadows growing deeper with each passing moment. The spectral silence was a constant companion, a haunting melody that underscored their eternal journey. The whispers of the wind carried tales of sorrow and sacrifice, echoing through the desolate streets of Morning Hollow. With each step, the bond between AshishShadow and the weeping shade grew stronger, their fates more closely intertwined. The spectral silence was a poignant testament to their eternal bond, a haunting symphony that echoed through the desolate streets of Morning Hollow. And so, the tale of AshishShadow and the cursed Morning Hollow continued, a journey into the heart of perpetual darkness, where the shadows whispered their secrets, and the symphony of sorrow played on through the echoes of an eternal night. As they ventured deeper into the shrouded darkness, they carried with them the weight of Morning Hollow's tragic legacy, a haunting reminder of the sacrifice that had forever intertwined their fates.